return.
Wow. No, that's incredible. So like I've listened to the soundtrack, and so and I haven't seen the film yet, but I will very soon. I'll take my kids. But there's such a pristine balance between nodding to the original, yet forging forward with the surprising and the new. Specifically, that opening underneath the London sky, it sets the perfect fresh tone for what's to come. And so, is there a sense of caution or trepidation in opening such refreshing doors in a project with a die-hard fan base built in?
Again,
Wow.
it was terrifying.
Well, Disney fans like that fandom runs deep, and so like,
Yeah,
they
well,
only-
I'm the same. I mean, speaking for myself, I'm the same way. So, I mean, I was terrified that someone else would get the job, also. And I didn't know how I was going to live life if we didn't get this job. I mean, I just didn't know how I was going to. Where would I go when this movie came out? It would have killed me if we hadn't. But then when we got it, then it was a whole new terror. And like, you know, we have the greatest songs ever written by the Sherman Brothers, are way down. And then when they cast Lin-Manuel Miranda and realized, oh, we're going to write songs for the preeminent writer of the generation. So by the time I got to the piano, it was more like this. But then, after a few days of fear, we realized that it's, instead of fear, that we can say thank you. By writing these songs, we can say like thank you to your parents or to a teacher. It's a way of saying this. We learned all this from you. Look, you know, it's almost like a little kid going, look what I did to mom, and then putting a
And
crayon.
mom being Richard Sherman.
Yeah. So Richard Sherman is still alive and well, and he heard what we were doing and has seen the movie and given us wonderful superlatives about what the whole movie and the songs that we wrote, and so him saying that means everything and all to us. I wish we had the videotape of him talking about it. I would play it for you each individually. So that was thrilling, because I mean, when I grew up, I was 4 years old when the movie came out, which lets you know how old I am. And this movie was everything. That soundtrack was everything to me. I did nothing but listen to that soundtrack. So the songwriting and also the orchestrations, which a man named Irwin Kostal was a brilliant man of his time who did Mary Poppins, and he did the movie The Sound of Music. He co-orchestrated West Side Story and Gypsy. So he's a brilliant guy who's a name that you don't know. He's behind the scenes, but his sound is equally a part of Mary Poppins as much as the Sherman Brothers songs.
And then we had Emily. You know, I mean, Emily was cast when we started the project, and so and she was in New York then making a movie called Girl on the Train. So here she was playing a very drunk, blackout drunk, and then she'd come to us on Thursday and she'd be Mary Poppins. So, and she came in with such confidence about taking on this role, which is kind of, which she went back to the books, as we all did, and she's a little bit more acerbic and rude, I guess you would say. And so
Mary Poppins,
not Emily, no. And she's also wickedly funny, and Mary Poppins and Emily. So she came in with utter confidence, and so it kind of was. It was contagious. So we would start to write, and we wrote a lot of songs almost for every spot in the movie. And she would come in on almost every Thursday from her voice class, and her voice kept getting higher, and you know, the pitches were, she said, pitch perfect pitch. So and we got to sort of, I felt like a Savile Row Taylor. We got to bespoke all this material on her, as Lynn as well, and so Lynn was in a little show called Hamilton. And he would come over as well, and we got to, you know, they became a very integral part of the collaboration and trying, and Ben Wishaw too, who was in the movie. He had never sung before, and he came over, and we said, "Do you know any songs?"
Just to hear his voice.
You know, and he said, well, he says, Mary Poppins was my favorite movie when I was a child. I used to dress up like her. So then he said, I do know Feed the Birds, and so he sang Feed the Birds, and the next day we wrote a song for him. So it was very special.